Hey everybody, welcome to episode 8 of LEGO Rewind, where we take a look back at some older tired LEGO themes. Today's episode features exo-force, a line I'm pretty excited to talk about, and I know you guys are excited given your comments on other videos. It doesn't stress me out at all when people pressure me to make videos about their favorite themes. exo-force was a line released in 2006 inspired by mecha anime, Gundam, Robotech, and the like. It ran for 3 years, and each year was very different. But one thing that remains pretty consistent is the use of ratchet joints. While lines like Bionicle use balls and cups to create friction, most of exo-force's figures, especially at his first year, used ratchet joints with little teeth that click into place. These joints can also be found in several other lines from the 2000s, such as Knight's Kingdom, Alpha Team, and Galidor. Interesting side note, Galidor actually managed to achieve neck articulation a full year before Bionicle did using these joints. I like to look at each decade as a general tonal shift for LEGO. The 2010s have been a pretty comfortable time for them. They're getting by, but that was after a slow, steady recovery throughout the 2000s. exo-force came out at an interesting time for LEGO, when they were finally back on their feet after years of circling the drain throughout the 90s and clawing their way out by whatever means necessary in the years that followed. I must emphasize the importance of it being a primarily brick-based system theme, since LEGO came pretty close to moving away from that. For a while, they were stagnating, and there were people pulling the strings who thought, I guess kids don't like bricks anymore. It didn't occur to them that maybe their builds were getting repetitive and maybe just weren't that great. Nah. It's gotta be the bricks. They blamed the bricks themselves. So they began to pursue other avenues, other building systems, in the hopes that one of these might become the wave of the future, replacing classic bricks if need be. That didn't happen. While lines like Star Wars and Bionicle kept them afloat, they improved their set design and storytelling, and bricks did endure. But for every Bionicle, Knight's Kingdom, or exo-force, there was a Jack Stone, there was a Snap, and there was a Galidor. exo-force, like I said, was inspired by anime. They made a lot of artwork and comics that felt pretty authentic, at least sometimes. It always made me wonder what it'd be like if they did try making an actual show, or at least a special or something like they made for Jack Stone. I don't think that'd be too expensive for them even in the early 2000s, given all the money they were throwing around at other shows. Yeah, get this, LEGO wasn't just making toys based on Galidor, they invested a pretty penny in the show's production. They had faith that this was going to be the next big step in LEGO's evolution, at a time when such a risky move could go so wrong. But that didn't happen. The whole reason a lot of these experimental lines were made was because they realized building was no longer fun, that the hassle of taking the time to sort pieces out and put them together was just the dated sort of play they needed to move away from, and that fewer pieces meant quicker gratification and easy play. Galidor really was the epitome of this new forward-thinking philosophy, the packaging making sure to show how nice and big and few in number the pieces were. It's like those Transformers for younger kids that proudly assure us only 4 steps, and they had a lot of the same gimmicks more traditional non-LEGO action figure lines had, like springs, projectiles, lights, and sounds. It was pretty innovative. The proposed Battle Peak line would have had some lights too, but only in its first year as far as I know. Galidor, Defenders of the Outer Dimension, took us across many worlds with their own indigenous lifeforms throughout its 8 seasons, but the first will always remain a classic. The lead is a human from Earth named Nick Bluetooth. Nick's superpower, and the gimmick of the whole toy line, is his ability to glitch. It's not as dirty as it sounds. He just uses other creatures' body parts to save the day. It's like when Mega Man's arm transforms into a buster. It just happens. And it is a good gimmick. The more sets you have, the more parts you have to swap around, mix and match, adding more value to Nick. While Nick may be the only character who can glitch in the show, in order to facilitate this play pattern, all the figures have to be compatible with Nick's joints, meaning they're compatible with each other. Here are some mocks people have made with just a fairly limited range of pieces made for its first wave. They aren't even using pieces from other lines, aside from Bionicle, which ended in 2005. Aside from pins, the only connection point that really made these compatible with traditional LEGO elements was in the feet. Not all of them, but some of them, like the human character's shoes, have teeth molded into them. A rather clever bit of detailing that allows them to clamp down on studded surfaces like base plates if need to be. As far as plain old action figures go, the detailing and realism is actually pretty decent for the time, at least when it comes to the alien characters. It's easy to make fun of the humans' faces, given the impressive leaps made in recent Star Wars figures. As a result of how big and chunky the pieces are, the price-to-piece ratio may seem a tad extreme to bitter AFOLs who couldn't accept this being LEGO's new direction, but a whopping 10 pieces for $10? I'd say that's pretty fair. The only weird cases are the really big ones like this. $40, 9 pieces, and that giant pod is one of them, so that's like $30 by itself. Like I said, building wasn't really the point of these. It was a time of moving past those limitations. The point was to be action figures with lights and sound action, like the cheekily named Keck Powerizer, inspiring one of the internet's oldest memes. That was also 9 pieces and cost $60. Looking back, it's hard to deny that we owe a lot of what we have today to this special fledgling line. Viewership and toy sales started to wane after the first few years, but it was just enough to get LEGO through one of their most arduous times, as they moved on to various other themes, pushing further in this direction and going on to become the world's leading action figure manufacturer, even surpassing Hasbro and Mattel after they merged in 2008. In hindsight, it seems the move away from bricks and even Technic may have been for the best. We all miss bricks and minifigures to a degree, yeah. Heck, I still miss Bionicle, but I'm fine with what we have now. I mean, it's better than nothing. Can you imagine if it hadn't been so successful early on? If it didn't meet LEGO's hopes and expectations, how different the LEGO landscape might look right now? What kinds of novels Greg Farshty may have written instead? How different the world would be and how we'd play without Galidor? Somewhere I'd bet there's an alternate timeline where Galidor wasn't a success. And in that world, maybe LEGO isn't around anymore. But who knows? Maybe they were able to hang in there just long enough to release some Battle Peak sets. You know, give that line a shot. Anime LEGO mobile suits? Are you kidding me? That sounds awesome! You know, I almost made an April Fool's Day video where it opens like I'm gonna talk about Galidor, and then I'd get distracted and pull up whatever prototypes and unreleased sets I could find from Battle Peak and just talk about that for the rest of the video. But there was also a time when I may have wanted to create my own graphic novel series. Instead of making weekly YouTube videos that'd eat up all of my spare time. I wonder what that would have been like. Oh well, at least there's still Galidor. And hey, there are rumors floating around that Bionicle might get a reboot in 2020. I guess one can hope. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next time for last decade's surprise hit, Ninjago.
The all-new Keck Powerizer. Bring the Galidor experience to life.
Brace for impact! Landing successful!
Turn good into evil.
We meet again.
15 amazing sets to collect.